Market continues to go upward, but there is a watch out. Hello everyone, this is Ahmed Saleh and this is the weekly market recap. The key messages for this week. So the market went up for 9 consecutive sessions. This is the longest run since 2004. But the problem is that now the run is extended. So maybe you are due for correction. Major trend is still downward. All right, now to the details. The S&P 500 last week has crossed several milestones. There is a confirmation that the 5,500 was already broken, and the downward trend is already broken, and we went above the 50-day moving average, the line in red here. But we are still so far from saying that we are going into an upward trend. Why is that? The technical damage was huge. So we need to do a lot of things so that we can correct the damage that happened. Like what? We need to cross first the 5,700 resistance. This is an important resistance to be broken. And after that, there is the 200-day moving average, which is the black line over here. After that, we need to have a higher high above this peak here. And then we need to see the 50 days moving average trending upward, and we need the 50 days moving average to cross the 200 days moving average upward. So as you can see, there is a lot of things that need to happen to say that we are going into an upward trend, but there are few steps that were done, and this is a good trend. But because the market has went up 9 consecutive sessions, I think we are due for a little bit of profit taking. There are some companies that made an increase of 15-20%, and they are due for profit taking. So I would not be surprised, and it's going to be even a little bit healthy if we just go down to visit the area of the 5,600, the moving average at 5,580. It's going to be a healthy correction if this happens now, because it means that we are gaining strength at this area. As long as we don't cross the 5,500, then we are in a good position. So let's move forward and see how did April close. April managed to regain all the losses that was made on April 2nd, the Liberation Day. The S&P closed at 1.5, the Nasdaq closed at 3.9, and it's almost flat for S&P equal weight and for the Russell 2000. The year to date is still negative for all the 4 indices, and from top we are down a lot. We are still down a lot. Last week we had the GDP that came with very negative results, minus 0.4% versus an expectation of plus 4%. So it was a surprise for the market. It drove the market down. But then PCE and the unemployment came good and within the expectation of the market, so they saved the day. We had good company results from Facebook and Microsoft, and we had also some good news on tariff. There is some discussion that is happening with China, is confirmed now with China, and there is one deal that is signed. Maybe it's India, maybe it's South Korea, maybe it's Japan. So this is still going to be announced next week. Maybe this news is already discounted in the price. We're still gonna see how the market is gonna react. There is no clue about this deal. Is it like going to remove the tariff completely? Is it going to have like a minimum of 5 or 10% tariff? This is still something that the market need to see, and the market need to decide how it will react for such news. So watch out for this next week. It's very important to see one deal at least that is getting signed. Next week we have another week of major company announcement of results. So we have Palantir that's announcing Monday after the close, Hims and Hers and Ford also. Berkshire Hathaway, they are already announced. We're still gonna see the market reaction on Monday morning. Tuesday we have AMD and Supermicro Computer. We have also Ferrari and Consultation, Marriott and Annette, one of the very flyers last week, and also the energy transfer company. We have also on Wednesday, we have Uber, Walt Disney and Novo Nordisk, VST Energy, and also we have after the close AppLovin and ARM and Axon. These are very important companies that are announcing on Wednesday. Thursday we have Peloton and Shopify, the Trade Desk and Coinbase, and that would cover most of the important companies on the week. Also, next week we have on Wednesday the Fed meeting. The Fed meeting, all the expectation now that there is more than 97% that there is gonna be no rate cut next week. So the market is not expecting any rate cuts to happen. So what is important is to see what will the Fed say about the economy and about the tariff and about the inflation and the job report. So the announcement is going to happen at 2 US time, and the conference call is going to happen at 2:30 as usual. And this would be the most important to listen to the comment of Jerome Powell on what he thinks about the economy. For my trading strategy, still buying the rebound from the support for the hammered stock, and I'm also buying now some companies gave good result like Facebook and Microsoft and Duolingo, so I'm buying these companies as well. And I am buying the companies that are at all-time high like AHR and CME. So I'll give an example of each one of these categories. So the first one is RCL for the rebounding stocks. So as you can see, the stock went from 275 down to 175, lost almost $100, which is about 30% from the top, and then it started rebounding. And as you can see here, it is still above the 200 days moving average. It's still above the 50 days moving average. If you recall, the S&P is not above the 200. This stock is above the 200. This stock even crossed already the peak of, if you can recall that I said that the S&P didn't cross the peak that happened end of March, and we need to see that happening. This stock is already crossing that peak, so it's a very good sign. So one of the stocks that is showing some strength. And you can also look for similar setup for such stock that are above the 50 days moving average, above the 200, and above the end of March peak. And of course, it crossed the downward trend line and the peak that was formed at April 2nd. Okay, so this is the first type of categories that I am in. The second type of categories are companies that are all-time high. Imagine, guys, at this kind of situation, there is still some companies that are doing all-time high. CME, like AHR, they are doing all-time high. And when they went down in April 2nd, they didn't go down a lot. So they went down like almost by 6-7%, but then rebounded and went up again and broke the all-time high that they had before. And now they are setting a new all-time high every day. So I'm buying these strengths, and I'm going long with these companies. So this is the second category that I'm in. The third category is companies that are like announcing good results, like we've seen Facebook last time. It started with a red candle. It means that there was a selling pressure to book some profit, but the second day it's corrected and it's going upward. So these are the third group of companies that I am looking to buy. You have Microsoft, you have Duolingo. There are lots of companies that announced results last week and they went up. This next week as well, there will be another set of companies that will announce results. So take care and look at this company. If PLTR, for example, announced result and crossed the all-time high, it's a buy at that point of time. Okay, don't be afraid, don't be shy. You can just go ahead and buy. All right. So that will be it for this week. If you like this video, please press like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel. And if you have any question, please put it in the comment. And again, this video is for informational purpose only, and any decision you make is at your own risk. Thank you very much. This was Ahmed Saleh.